says that black men are dehumanized and only valued based on what they do. A little longer clip, but go ahead and be patient. I want to make sure I give as much context as possible. So here we go.
One of the greatest crimes, there are many, but one of the greatest crimes perpetuated against black men specifically is the level to which their humanity and their hearts have been devalued, diminished, and dehumanized, and that they have become doing machines. The greatest value a black man has, in many instances, is what he can do for somebody. Right. And how he can do it and how much he can do it and how much he earns doing it. I mean, I hear it and see it among young people in the relationships, oh, you're going to get my nails done and you're going to do this and you're going to do that. Right. They've been demeaned and devalued and dehearted, right, to the point where they value themselves based on what they can do. Fix it, get it, make it happen. And no place have I seen in our world does anybody tell black men how to be. How to be with themselves, how to be true to themselves, how to be with their feelings, how to be with their heart, and it's criminal. So what happens is then they begin to do the things that are expected of them, and that's how they're evaluated. And then if they can't do that anymore, whether it's the job or pay the mortgage or whatever, then they're just cast off like socks in the corner. Right. Right. And it happens to black women also, but usually because of the children in our care, we're given a little more leeway. But the way it's done for black men, and as I shared with you, one of the things my teacher taught me was one of the greatest kryptonites for a man in general, black men specifically, is the feeling, the belief, the treatment that he is somehow inadequate. And when you devalue a man, he's going to feel inadequate. When you dehumanize him, when you deheart him, so then where does he go with that? Right. He's inadequate and he doesn't serve a purpose because he can't do what you need him to do to make you feel better about yourself.
What's the purpose? What's the point?
What's the point? And that's why we have these incredible rises in suicide. Yeah. I personally think it's why we have this, and I don't know the figures, I don't know what they are now, but the increase between, I think it was 2017 and 2021, 30-something% increase in the number of black men with prostate cancer, starting early. And why? Because their manhood is under attack. Right. And their psyche is not nourishing and nurturing them, and their masculinity. Because where in the world do we see them lifted, honored? I don't want to say respected. And here's what I hear in the back of my mind. So let me just go ahead and deal with it. Black women saying, well, look what they do, and look how they are, and look what they do, and we unwittingly participate in the emasculation, the dehumanization, the devaluation, and the disheartening of black men because they didn't do it the way we wanted them to do it. Mothers, wives, girlfriends, sisters.
All right, Ayana says that black men are dehumanized and only valued based on what they do. I'm going to go ahead and start with you first, Trev. What are your thoughts about that, sir?
Very true. Only thing I would say is that it's not necessarily specific to black men. It might be worse on this side, but not specific to black men. Just as a man, general, you were judged by what it is you can produce. You are expected to produce. And if you do not, then you are not appreciated. It is what it is. You're not worth anything. If you don't offer value to a situation, to a relationship, then the hell with you, right? That's just what it is. We are forced to produce. We don't have a choice. That's why our mindset is the way it is, right? I could say, I would think that every single person on this panel feels like it's produce or die, right? And if not, that's the end of the world. You have to. I can't see it any other way but producing, because if no one's going to value you, You don't mean anything to anybody. If you don't offer it, that's just how people are. People do not attach themselves to you if you don't offer value. I'm guilty of it myself. If you don't offer some type of value to my life, I don't have room for you, right? So it is what it is. I don't have room for people in my life that don't offer some type of value. It doesn't have to be monetary, but it has to be some type of value, even if it's advice or perspective or something. You can't just be out shit. That doesn't mean anything to me. I don't have time to waste on you, and you shouldn't. I don't think it's anything wrong with that. We should be valued. Now, the only thing I would say about that is if you expect this type of value from a man or a black man, whatever you want to say, you need to also be a valuable person. You can't expect me to produce, expect me to do everything, and then you don't pour into me. That's not going to fly. That is not going to fly, and men shouldn't stand for it. It is up to you. It's your duty as a man to produce. And if you don't accept it, the hell with you. You ain't going to be nothing. But guess what? Anybody who you attach to your life, make sure that they offer value too. You're not responsible for anybody else but your damn children. That's it. Everybody else, they need to offer value if they want to be part of your life. And people just have to accept it as men. That's what we do. And most of us do accept it. We understand that if we don't offer value, then they're not going to care about us. I'll leave it there for now.
All right, go ahead, Sweeney. Then we go to Kenny.
This is gonna be real quick. The problem isn't that men are valued based on what they can produce. As Trev said, that is exactly what men are supposed to do. You are valued by what you can produce. I think the problem comes from being the lack of appreciation for what men do. That's become the problem today. So I think it's just that simple. There's no appreciation for what men do. And I'll leave it at that.
All right, go ahead, Kenny. Then we go to Rella.
You know, it's funny that you pull up Ayanna Van Zant, the griot, I'd like to call her. She sat across from a woman that called us mediocre and average. I prefer date the man who owned the bus company rather than the bus driver. And she had the nerve to say that we have to aspire for more than just settling for that because her mother was a bus driver. She used all her college credits to use words to not step back and say, I should be proud that my black man is out there doing something. What is not admirable about you being a bus driver and you saying, oh, if that's the only thing you aspire for in your life, you're mediocre and average. And that cannot be accepted. Said by a woman who is not single, never married. We are dehumanized. We are in danger. I was on a live Saturday with a woman who went and searched me down, called me a transsexual chaser, called me a stalker, and God knows what else. All the words that you can use. I said, if we were in an HR setting, if I kept my mouth quiet without defending myself, even if I did, I would be out of a job. Just because of how women see us nowadays. And I'm not talking the whole scope, but it's more and more prevalent that we are not valued and respected as we should. There's a couple sisters that come up on these skits and say that, black man, I love you, pray for you, all this good stuff. And if you look down the text line of what is said back to them, it's appalling and horrendous. We're becoming the endangered species. I'll leave it at that.